What up, nerds? And welcome back to Lily's Ranger Talk. So, this is actually going to be a completely different episode. Well, not completely. I was going to do the teams that I want to see come back in Gozuger, and then I made the realization that some of those predictions I made, they actually were going to happen, and I felt like it was going to make me look stupid. So, I decided to scrap that idea. However, I've had this idea for I want to say months. Yeah, for months since the Boom Boom Jur episode where the Tokijers came back or Akira and Wright came back because and I get why they didn't do this. I'm still kind of a little bummed that we didn't get a 10 years after Tokijur movie or special. Um I get why because Deca Ranger is very popular and same with Kaki Ranger and I mean especially after watching Kaki Ranger, I get it. But that being said, I did want to talk about some other seasons that I would love to see come back for a 10 year, 20 year, 15, blah 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 um anniversary special, like a little reunion. Um and I'm going to talk about, Sentai's that technically already passed that mark and also some that are close to having their 10 years after or having a couple years, like a decade or so of them, if that makes sense. And now that I'm thinking about it, because I haven't talked about Power Rangers in a while, I also want to talk about some Power Ranger teams that I would love to see have a reunion special or of some sort. I know they don't do it over here, and they definitely won't do it over here since Hasbro killed Power Rangers, but it would be cool to talk about, so let's talk about it. But let's start with Super Sentai first. I'm actually gonna talk about what I think would be cool to see come back for a 50 years after, which I said 50. Yes, I'm talking about the original Himitsu Sentai Go Ranger. Do I think it's gonna happen? Probably not. I know the original Key Ranger died. Am I saying that? Is it Key Ranger? I'm losing it. Um, but I know he died like in 1978. I actually just saw that. And then I don't know if anyone else would come. But I'm sure we'll see Aka Ranger in Gozuger definitely at some point. So I will get something, but it would be cool to see, the team come back. I don't know how many of them are still alive, if I'm being honest. I know they're in their 70s, at least. Um, but yeah, I just think it would be cool. I also want to talk about a series that I watched that actually has an anniversary this year as well. There's a couple that have anniversaries this year, but specifically the one that I watched that is celebrating 20 years is Mahou Sentai Magi Ranger. A show that, again, I love. It was my first Sentai I watched. And I know it's not gonna happen, but I would love for them to come back, but I do not think that's gonna happen. As far as I'm aware of, I think Hoka's actor does not like her character. And then I think also Mikita's actor doesn't like his character. So I don't see that happening. I think they had a reunion at some point. I don't know when, but I could have sworn, like, when I was looking up, like, Magi Ranger a couple years ago, like, when I just finished it, I could have sworn I saw, like, some sort of panel, but I'm not sure what year that was. But yeah, it would have been so cool, but it's most likely not gonna happen. So I can only dream of a family reunion. Another season that was definitely never gonna happen, and I wish would, is Ghost Agers. And I actually came up with an idea for Ghost Ager. So I can't remember the name of this character, but there was a little kid in Ghost Ager who like bonds with all of them, specifically Alata. And I thought, well, he's gonna be an adult by the time 10 years would have happened. What if he falls into the wrong crowd? accidentally marries one of like the bad guys from that season, which I'm sorry I don't remember the name because I did not take notes on this season, so everything's going off of memory right here. And you know, the Ghost Agents have to help him and like snap him back into reality. Or honestly, what they probably would have done, something with Ghost at Night. But I just thought, it was such a good idea. And again, this was never going to happen, and it's still never gonna happen. Which sucks because again, I think Ghost Racers is a really good season. I think the problem is got sandwiched with Shinkenger and Gokaiger, and they're definitely going to do Gokaiger stuff. Like, there's no point of like predicting, oh, are they gonna do a Gokaiger cameo? Because they're going to do it because it's Gokaiger. But yeah, I think it would just been nice to see the Gosagers again. Specifically for me, I would have loved to see an Eri again because she's probably one of my favorite Sentai Pinks. I already talked about Magic Ranger, how it's their 20-year anniversary, but next year in 2026, there's going to be a 10 years anniversary, and that is with Zoo Oger. And oh my goodness gracious, I would just love to see the Zoo Ogers again. Specifically Yamato and the love of my life, Sayla. I do not know if this will happen. I honestly do not know if I think one of the actors, and I think it's Sayla's actress, and I cannot remember for a fact, but I think she retired from acting. I could be wrong, and I could have sworn one of them retired. Um, but it would be cool to see them again, see where the humans are, just what they're doing with life. Like, all of these would be cool. Going back to a 90s series, and I've only watched two, and Kaku Ranger already got one, so you know what the other one is. It's Jetman. I wish we got some sort of Jetman reunion, in some capacity. I don't know how that would have worked, because, spoiler alert, guy dies. But I think it would have been cool. I want to see Ryu and Kari again. And obviously I want to see Akko and Raita. I just want to know what they've been up to. I think there's a manga, if I'm not mistaken, where they do kind of go off and say what happens. Like, I know Ryu and Kari have a kid, and they name it after Guy. But in terms of, like, seeing them again, it would be cool. But the only thing is, 99.9% sure I saw somewhere that Ryu's actor is retired too. But also, Seikai's actor, I believe, was also retired, and he came out of retirement just for the web special. So, it's not impossible. Let's talk about a recent Sentai that there's not going to be one for years and years and years, but I still would want to see it. And that is, of course, Osama Sentai King Oger. I just want to see the Kings again. I am so excited for the Boom Boomger versus King Oger special. Not necessarily because I think it's going to be good. I mean, the King Oger versus Stone Brothers one wasn't too bad. I just thought it was too short. And I didn't think the story made that much sense. But I do love seeing the Kings. Like, I just love seeing them. I've said this in my Sentai ranking. King Ogers really took me by surprise about how much I like these characters and just how good it is. That I'm just really... I get happy whenever I see the Kings on my screen. I would have been happy if, they... Well, I don't know if I would be happy about this, but I would be fine if, like, Toei just decided, you want to know what, let's just keep doing King Oger for, like, 5 years. They probably wouldn't. They wouldn't have, with any Super Sentai season, I don't think. But I'd be curious to know what happens after 10 years, and obviously this is not going to happen anytime soon because it's only been 2 years since King Oger even came out, but still, I can dream, right? Another show that actually might surprise you guys that I say. I wouldn't mind a Kia Majors 10 years after. I know. Because it's Kia Majors. Um, but listen. Yes, I do not like any of the Kia Majors except for Senna. And, I'm about Takemichi. Like, the more I think about it, I'm about Takemichi. But, I like the side characters enough that I want to see them and what they're doing. And, like, I'm curious about, like, their outcome. And also, I'm very curious about Yodana because if I'm remembering this correctly, I saw, like, a Yodana special with, Drew's girlfriend or something like that. Didn't she turn good? Like, I'm very curious about Yodana. But yeah, if anything, I just want to see the cameo just 10 years after for the side characters, not necessarily them themselves. I don't think this is gonna happen. Um, Especially since I think Senna's actor, retired. But I think the Kia Majors deserve it just because of what they went through during their filming. You know, during the pandemic, they got their episodes cut. Because they only got like 45 episodes. So, which I'm assuming that's why they did the Yodana special. Is because oh, well, they only got 45 episodes. Let's do a couple more Kia Major things. I have one more Super Sentai series that I've watched that I want to talk about. And then I also want to talk about one season that I haven't watched but and never probably will watch. And then we'll move on to Power Rangers. But you guys knew I was going to say this at some point. But I need, not want, need a Q Rangers reunion. It's definitely not going to happen, but I need it. Look, and this, I will be fine with Q Rangers in any capacity, even if it's just, similar to what they have been doing, where it's just an episode, and they just come back for an episode or two. I'd be fine with that. But I just need to see a Q Ranger on my screen. Like, please and thank you. If there's anyone in particular I want to see, if it's like not the whole team and they do what they did for Boom Boonger, the top 3 people I would want to see are obviously I want to see Raptor. This is definitely not going to happen because Raptor didn't get as much focus in Q Ranger than I would have liked, but she's still one of my favorite characters, one of my favorite pinks, and obviously I love her because she's voiced by Mao Ichimichi, aka Luca. So I love her. Number 2, Stinger, because Stinger is another great character, had a great character arc, and I just love him. There isn't a single Q Ranger that I hate. There are some that I think are meh, but I don't hate them necessarily. And then number 3, Naga. I need to, oh my god. And those are just the 3 characters that I really like. I mean, it's so hard to pick Rangers from this show that I would want to see. Like, if I had to pick just one, I couldn't. Because there's so many of them that I like. But I don't even know, like, what they would do for this show, for this 10 years after, but it's coming up in 2 years, Toei. I will gladly help. But yeah, Need. I keep saying want, but I need this Q Ranger special. Please and thank you, Toei. Now for the season that okay, when I say I've never watched, that's a lie. I have seen a few episodes, but there is one season that I will never probably watch in full because of a Power Rangers counterpart. And if you're guessing I'm talking about Time Ranger, yeah. I think it'd be interesting to see a Time Ranger reunion of some sort. Again, I don't know how this will work, especially with the whole future concept, but I really want to see it. I don't know why, especially considering that I have only watched a handful of episodes, and they're actually just Time Green's focus episodes, because they give me some ideas for fan fiction that I write, which I will never show, for Time Force, but I really would just want to see all of these people come together again. I know Time Yellow was in Gokaiger. I know he made a little cameo in that. But I would love to see everything else, you know? I think everything else, everyone else. I'd be very curious on what happens to everyone. Again, because I know what happens in Time Ranger, especially since I've watched Power Rangers Time Force, and they're vaguely similar. Except for one key detail. But I still just think it would be cool, and I would totally watch it. Why not? Speaking of Time Force, that's the number one season that I would love to see do a special or a movie or some sort of reunion if Power Rangers ever did one. I know they technically had Hyperforce, which was a Time Force sequel. But I'm sorry, I didn't watch it. Not only did I not watch it, I don't consider it Time Force. I don't consider Hyperforce canon. I consider it like an alternate universe from like my headcanon of what happens after Time Force. Like I said, I'm sorry to people who like Hyperforce. It's not that I hate it. It's just that I would rather. It's mainly because Nadira gets with Joe. I'm sorry. I'm a hardcore Lucas and Nadira shipper. Sue me. But yeah, I just would love to see some sort of reunion movie of some sort. And if I'm being honest, I know some of the actors don't necessarily act anymore. I know specifically, Trip, shout out to Kevin Kleinberg. I know he doesn't act anymore, but I know in interviews he said he was open to going back to Power Rangers for a cameo. And look, I'm not saying they need to do like another season of Time Force. And they were supposed to get a movie, which missed opportunity, guys. I get it. The Turbo Power Rangers movie was not good to other people. I like the Turbo movie. But Time Force is a completely different season. You know, I forget that I'm not recording my face, so when I pause, you guys don't know I'm making a face, like being like, what is wrong with people? But yeah, I would have loved to see in like a Time Force movie. Maybe one similar to what Reinforcement for the Future was, where Rancic helps the Time Force Rangers. It just would have been so good. Why? Why, Saban? Why you gotta do this to me? You know, I was going to say MMPR, and then I completely forgot that Power Rangers Once and Always was a thing. So, Look, it's not even that I haven't watched enough Power Ranger seasons, which, because I've watched at least 10, but most of them are from the current season, like the last couple years. I say that I've watched at least 1 or 2 episodes of every Power Ranger season. But I haven't really watched a lot of them in full. I think the closest I've gotten was like Samurai when I was a kid. So that being said, I got nothing. Well, I wouldn't say nothing. I just don't know like what a couple like a years after anniversary special would look like. And look, they've tried anniversary specials. Or anniversary specials. They've tried anniversary seasons. None of them really turned out that good. Even Cosmic Fury, like, I have seen so many people bash on Cosmic Fury. I thought it was good. I cried during it. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you've seen the picture. But, I don't know. What Power Rangers seasons do you guys think that could potentially do good for an anniversary season other than Time Force? Because I literally can't think of anything. Like, I came into this thinking, oh, I can think of a couple. And then I was like, nah, I don't know if these will work. Sorry for the ramble, guys. I don't have scripts for these because I feel like if I wrote scripts, I just feel like it's like, where am I trying to go with this? I don't want to sound like scripted, which is why I don't write scripts. But that being said, though, that's it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, please give it a like. And again, let me know what Super Sentai seasons and Power Ranger seasons you think would be good anniversary specials. Or have good anniversary specials. And if you guys want to keep the conversation going, you should follow me on Instagram, Lilies_RangerWorld. I post there a lot, and I'm going to make more edits, because I have not been making edits in a while. With that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. See you guys.